we do have a pretty decent, a pretty decent amount of armies on the map that we might be able to defeat for potential Qualis gems. Hello Reformers and welcome back to Pendor. Now when we left off we were attacking a couple of rivals for the Rangers of the Clarion Call, and as a result we have completed their quest, which I'm gonna go in just a second and actually do. And yeah, what we're gonna also need to do is we're gonna need to get an army capable of tackling that Jatu army that is going to be coming out of the woodwork as soon as we take Quigfen's quest. And as far as I'm aware, that should be applicable right now. We should be able to speak to Quigfen and say, hey, can you give me that quest? And he's probably going to be like, yes, I can give you that quest. Otherwise, I have seen multiple comments from a couple of people saying things like, upgrade your, what is it now? Upgrade your companion's weapons and things like that. And it was kind of, it was a little bit confusing to me because most of our companions, and I'm talking about basically all of them, have good weapons. There's no one that has really bad weapons with the exception of Sarah the Fox, because in general, she is very low in terms of strength, and so she's going to be, I think, basically almost impossible to find a decent enough weapon for, because they all have pretty high strength requirements, but you can see here that they're not actually using bad weapons like daggers or anything like that at all. The only person that is obviously Sarah. She's using throwing knives because she is a throwing weapon specialist, and she's also using a mace. Now this mace isn't actually that bad. It's okay, it's not complete junk, it's alright otherwise, because it does have 24 blunt damage, pretty good against heavy weapon users, and as you can see, even my heavy warhammer right here would require 13 strength. She doesn't have that, she has 8, because she's going to be our custom knighthood order agility person. Basically, we're going to use her to level up our units' agility as much as possible. But yeah, I thought I'd just clear that up real quick because I think there was actually someone commenting that on multiple episodes, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to try and address that. And I looked at my companions, and they're perfectly fine. There's no problem at all with them. Anyway, as you can see here, Quigfen has the quest for us. You seem to wish to befriend the Noldor. However, you must prove your good intentions in order to gain their trust. There is a marauding Jatu army roaming the Laria woods, attacking Noldor patrols, searching for their hidden castle. If you can defeat it, the Noldor will be very grateful for your help. What do you say? Very well, I will destroy the Jatu army. Should we? I guess. Let's do it. Let's try and do it. Now, here's the thing. The cool thing about attempting to do this is that we might be able to lure the Jatu army into some other relatively large parties, if that is indeed possible. But otherwise, I'm going to go in and speak to the Rangers of the Clarion Call, obviously, and we're going to say, I have settled the problem with the Knights of the Raven Spear. That sounds good to me, doesn't it? There we go. We've gained 10 renown, some honor, a little bit of relation, 7 rank points, and so on. And otherwise, they are just looking for a tournament champion. Now, I don't know whether I really want to do that right now. I think we have everyone at... we don't have everyone at maximum HP right now either, which is a bit of a shame. But anyway, let's actually just take a quick look and see where that Jatu army is. I don't exactly know whether they allow you to see it from far distances or not. But yeah, I don't think that's actually the case. There's a whole bunch of Noldor around here. We don't have to worry about them any further because they're at 21 relation, are they not? I think they're at 21 relation. Let's actually just take a quick look here. And victory progress? Yeah, they are cooperative, but that doesn't actually tell me. Must have favorable or better relations with you. The Mist Mountain tribesmen, wow, they must be obliterated or destroyed, and every other minor faction must be obliterated or destroyed with no outstanding minor factions or heroic personalities on the map. That's how victory is achieved. One kingdom remaining as well. As you can see, all of these armies are actually in the game right now, and we could obviously try and tackle a couple of those, but not at the moment. Probably not at the moment. Okay, so the Jatu army is probably going to be in this direction here. I mean, I would expect that to be the case. There's a Jatu Warband. They're going to be pretty fast on their feet. Where is the Jatu army? Whenever I've seen the Jatu army in the past, they've always been in this forest area here a little bit. So maybe I'm going to have to look around a little, and maybe I'll try and find them. Alright, so I was lucky enough to be able to find the Jatu marauding army. They are in the Larian Woods, very, very close to where Elicrae actually is. And yeah, I just wandered around a whole bunch. I actually did find a couple of mercenaries in the nearby tavern, and I also, well, recruited a couple of volunteers from the Salian villages. Now, that is not really going to do very much for us, but we're going to try our best. And we'll see how it goes. I'm a bit worried about this, to be honest. 85 versus 254. We have a battle advantage of -5. They have 143 on the battlefield right now, and I'm hopeful that we'll get the advantage in terms of the terrain that we're currently fighting on. I don't think that's going to be the case, because our people are very slow. They're very slow to get up this hill here. I think we are going to be in some trouble. And bear in mind that this army that I have right now is kind of cobbled together. It is not the most elite army that we could ever find. It is certainly not by any means. And I'm a bit worried about it, to be honest. Yeah, and that's exactly the reason why you have to have an exceptional, and I'm talking about exceptional army composition to be able to deal with these Jatu, but we're going to try our best. We'll just slash at as many of them as I can, and well, it's going to be very difficult, because in general, the Jatu Raiders are some of the most tenacious. Yeah, that's not going to work. That is certainly not going to work. Okay, well, at least I tried it. That's certainly not going to be something that we're going to be able to do that easily, especially considering I don't have a full army at the moment. Me tackling those guys right now, probably not the best idea. Anyway, considering we might be able to do that tournament quest, I'm going to try and do that for the Rangers of the Clarion Call. I'd like to try and advance my rank as much as possible with them, and that is going to obviously give us access to better gear, and in general maybe give us access to a couple of Clarion Call Rangers themselves, and all that wonderful stuff. Hopefully Lethal Duran is going to be coming back as well at some point. I also did manage to find a ransom broker, by the way, and I was able to sell those prisoners for about 3,000. So not exactly great, but good enough, I guess. Anyway, let's go into the castle here, and we are going to ask for a tournament champion. Okay, so let's have a look. Ah, go to Salian. Okay, let's do it. That's going to be pretty fun, actually, because we're most likely... 7 days only. 7 days. Anyway, we're most likely going to be able to use lances, and we're pretty good with lances, aren't we? Are we pretty good with them? Maybe. Anyway, let's see what we can do with them, and hopefully I'm not going to take any people hostage here. I mean to say, I don't really want to encounter any very, very strong units here. Anyway, let's actually just take a quick look. I'm at 59% still, so I'm going to just wait here for some time. It's going to take 7 days, the actual task, so I can wait a little, or not, as the case may be. Okay. Well, I don't exactly know why that happened. I guess it's because the tournament ended, so I guess I need to go back and just literally get another one. Oh, never mind. Okay, so apparently, apparently they were just like, oh, you're too slow to be able to do this tournament. So we're gonna instead do some Jatu hunting, by the looks of things. This is actually going to be much, much better than last time, because we are going to dedicate ourselves a little bit more to eliminating more Jatu parties than we did previously, and that's gonna mean that we will have a much greater reward at the end, and maybe we'll even gain some Larian Sentinels, many more of them in actual fact, so hopefully that will be the case. There's the Jatu Warband. I think we're going to tackle these guys. They actually have a pretty... wow, they have a lot of good units. So I don't exactly know whether we're going to be able to do this, but we'll try it. We'll try it. Let's get our infantry out there. Let's tell them to stand a little bit closer. Let's tell our archers to go at the back here. Tell our cavalry to follow me. Very, very fast speaking. And we're going to try and see what we can do. I'm going to try and get my halberdiers out the front there, just so that we can get them stopped. That's literally all we need to do. But you can see that they're extremely good at what they do, aren't they? The Jatu are always extremely powerful, and I'm absolutely awful. Yes. Don't even watch. It is terrible. Ah. It is one of those. It's one of... Ah, there we go. There we go. Okay, you can watch now. There we go. That was a little bit better. A little. Only a little. But we have stopped most of their lancers in their tracks, and that's exactly what we need to do with the larger army. The larger army just has, in my opinion, just too many. Just too many for us to deal with at the moment. But hopefully, as we go, and as we continue to gain power, gain renown, honor, etc., we're hopefully then going to have the opportunity to eliminate them. Bear in mind that all I need to do really is just make sure that I have the maximum highest tier units possible. So maybe that means recruiting a couple more units as mercenaries, and, you know, as I am doing here, eliminating a couple more quests for the Clarion Call. And that is obviously going to make a large difference in us having a decent enough success chance for eliminating that large Jatu army. Because if we don't, you know, if we don't have those high tier units, we're going to be in some trouble. As you saw, you know, it was kind of a foregone conclusion, really. You know, I was just going in there just to see exactly how powerful the Jatu are, and, well, you can obviously tell that just by looking at what they have in their army, but it's sometimes a much better idea just to go in and get your own experience of, you know, what they're going to be like. And for the most part, it seems like what they're going to do is they're literally just going to charge at you. And in general, Jatu, they usually do that, don't they? They usually just charge straight off, because they have so many lancers. It's just much better for them to do that than it is for them to do other things, like just, you know, hold position and make actual tactical decisions rather than just charging in. Because charging in is the best for them. They can just absolutely murder everything. And while I do have a couple of adventurers here, I've lost like 3 or 4 of them so far. And that's really, really bad, because they cost me a lot of money. And, well, yeah, I guess that's just how it has to go this time around. But hopefully we're gonna get some good victories here. It does take a little bit too long for us to eliminate these Jatu, though, unfortunately, but it is giving me some renown. But you can see here, look at how many halberdiers we lost. We lost 4 adventurers, 4 halberdiers. That's not good. We do not need that. We need something a little bit better. It's kind of a shame. Okay, so there's some Jatu arrows right there. I might actually keep those Jatu arrows. They seem pretty decent. Are they better than what I actually have available? Yeah, look at that. It's +7 to damage, but we do lose 10 arrows as a result. So I guess the large bag of bodkin arrows is still going to be much better in that regard. So I guess I can just leave them. Anyway, we're going to just take these fellows here. I do know, by the way, that there is a shortcut to recruit units and indeed to capture prisoners as well. But the last time that I used that shortcut, it crashed the game and made me go over the entirety of my progress in that episode, and that's the reason why I'm not doing it any further, even though I think that at that time it was just a random crash, random bug, and I don't think it's going to happen every single time, but I don't really want to take that chance. So that's the reason why I'm not using it anymore. So yeah, let's actually take a quick look and see how much that actually gave us. Yeah, that gave us exactly... well, it gave us much more than we actually need to be able to complete that particular task, but even so, we are going to continue hunting the Jatu. And you know what we're also going to want to do? We're going to try and find the elixir guy, you know, the guy that sells the potions, and we're actually going to buy those with the two quality gems that I currently have, because we do have a pretty decent, you know, a pretty decent amount of armies on the map that we might be able to defeat for potential qualis gems. So me saving these 2 qualis gems, it's not really, I don't think it's really necessary personally. And I'm dead. Yeah, I was about to say, and I'm dead, because as soon as you stop And as soon as you get a couple of those guys following you, it's game over. Anyway, that will give me a little bit of an opportunity to actually talk and concentrate on what I'm actually saying instead of me being chased by thousands of enemies. No, it's not thousands, but you know what I mean. Anyway, point is, we do want to get additional Qualis gems. So who are we going to fight? Well, we can fight the Snake Cult. That's probably not going to work out too well for us because they usually have a huge amount of units, but they might be the easiest to deal with, if you can believe it, because they usually do not have a huge amount of Serpent Priestesses and Cobra Knights and things like that. And they might be easier to whittle down, basically. So we should be able to eliminate those Serpent Priestesses and the Cobra Knights relatively smoothly, and then from there we'll be able to just deal with the rest, and hopefully we'll go from there. But obviously we just need to have a good enough army to be able to deal with them, and hopefully that's going to happen to take out this marauding Jatu army, and then we'll be able to move on and maybe do a little bit of Qualis gem hunting. Now I believe there was a comment on one of the previous episodes that said, did you get the Qualis gem from Rain? And I did. If you watch in the previous couple of episodes, you know, if you watch all of the series up until now, then you'll know exactly what's gone on. And usually I recommend to do that anyway, because, you know, it gives you an overall view and an overall sort of experience, I guess, about how we got here and the trials and tribulations of Bertil the Hired Blade, and how he became the Hired Blade, because technically he didn't actually start like that. He started off as something completely different. But anyway, there's only one enemy remaining, and hopefully that will be dead soon. And there it is, one of the Jatu Raiders once again proving that they are extremely slippery to track down. Another adventurer taking a killing blow there. I gotta say, I personally feel like in Pendor it is extremely likely, and I don't know whether you've noticed this as well. I think I actually saw a couple of people comment about this, but it is extremely likely. Likely? Oh yes, likely. Great. Anyway, it is extremely likely for some of your higher tier units to get outright killed, no matter what your surgery skill. Do bear in mind, I still have not found Anson. I don't exactly know where he is, but he is extremely difficult to find for me for some unknown reason. But otherwise, it's just kind of weird, really, because I have some surgery skill. 1. Oh. Okay, I only have 1 surgery. That might be the reason why I'm losing so many units then. Never mind, my complaints are unfounded, but I do know that a couple of other people have mentioned in the comments that they have a very, very high surgery skill, like 8, 9, and it is not good. They're losing adventurers, they're losing high tier units like nothing else, and I don't exactly know why that would be, with the exception of them, I don't know, those units just having an inbuilt higher chance for them to be killed, and I don't exactly know why that would be. Probably because if there were, for example, in one of my previous Pendor series, if there was an army comprised completely of hero adventurers, for example, then they're going to be unstoppable, with the exception of those ones that are going to get killed eventually. And I guess that is the operative word, mostly, eventually, because if you have some units like those hero adventurers that never die because of your surgery skill, then you're just going to sweep across the entirety of Pendor extremely easily. And I suppose the mod creators, they've never really been about quote-unquote easily, you know, or generally anything that is easy, they're not interested in that, really. They make everything very, very difficult, and I mean, I guess that's the point, you know. Pendor is a difficult mod, very, very difficult. And yeah, I guess that's what they succeeded to do. They wanted to make a difficult mod, and that's exactly what they've done. But they've done it in a good way, in my opinion. I mean, you know, it's gonna be a little bit frustrating sometimes. It's going to challenge you on almost every single stage, and yeah, but that's the thing. It's not partially unfairly difficult. Sometimes, yes, you know, it can seem like some of the large armies are going to be unfair, because well, their stats generally are kind of unfair, but those armies are generally meant to be taken on when you have an extremely good army, and that was an extremely feeble attack on that last raider there. Well, he got taken out. There you go. But anyway, point is, I feel like Pendor is at a decent enough difficulty level. You know, if you've already, achieved victory in native and you want something a little bit more challenging, and by a little bit I mean very, very steep difficulty curve, then Pendor is definitely the way to go. Anyway, let's actually take a whole bunch of units here. I'm actually really, really pleased that I was able to get into an encounter with these guys, because as you can see, they are giving me a whole bunch of units, and we are now basically at full capacity right here, and all I need to do now is just level up these guys, and then we'll have a pretty decent army. And maybe we'll be able to even whittle down that marauding Jatu army. That would be pretty nice. Otherwise, let's level that guy into a hero adventurer. Empire armored crossbowman, sounds good. And yeah, so what I'm going to do now is I'm probably going to continue looking for Anson, and we'll also look for the elixir guy, and I'm going to do that at the beginning of the next episode, and hopefully we'll also think about becoming a vassal. I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.